Hello and welcome to the Monthly Marquee. I'm your host, Bart Levins, Director for the Hardin County Schools Performing Arts Center. Our first guest is Miss Carrie Lewis, representing the Hardin County Playhouse. How are you?
I am fine.
Good,
How are you doing?
Good. I'm doing great. I wanted to mention again, I really enjoyed the article in the News Enterprise about you and Claire and sign makers making the shields.
Yes.
What a great way to contribute to the community, and just take a moment to thank you guys personally for that before we got into everything.
Yes, we took a few days and we've donated several to like hospice and nursing homes and different people here and there, nurses and home health aides and stuff like that. So we were glad to be a part of something positive, you know, keeping everybody going and healthy.
Well, it's one of the more unique times we will ever have in our lifetime.
Exactly.
This will be one of those I remember when moments. Not quite, you know, walking over snowy hills to school every day, but I mean, it will be one of those moments for all of us and for our children as well. How are things at the Playhouse? What's happening with the Playhouse in the midst of all of this?
We're having our board meetings via Zoom, just like everything else, and which is really great. You know, you can sit in your kitchen and you can eat pasta or whatever and still conduct the board meeting. So it, you know, be in your jammies if you want to. So we're kind of experiencing some new things with the technology and stuff. That's been working well. We don't have a lot going on, so we don't have a lot necessarily to cover.
Sure.
Because like everybody else, we're kind of at a standstill, that intermission time. So we're just trying to, I guess, stay abreast of recent developments and be ready to roll when the time is right. So.
And what's that going to look like for you, do you think, at this point?
We've rearranged a little bit with the coming season. You know, Heather's was supposed to be our final show, and now we've moved that up to the opening in August. So we've still got planned tentatively auditions for the 8th and 9th of June at HCEC. And I'm just, you know, staying closely in touch with some of the folks at the school just to make sure that things are on schedule and there's not going to be any kind of changes. But if there are, we will post it on our Facebook page and the website. But that's the plan for now, that we're still going to continue on with the season as before, and hopefully everything will be settled down and we'll be able to go on. So.
And just so our audiences have something to look forward to, what is the season? What are you looking to do next year?
Well, like I said, we'd be opening with Heather's, and then we would have Death Trap and Elf the Musical, and The Diary of Anne Frank, and the last show, we put it out there for vote, and it's kind of been a tie, so I'm not sure which way it's going to go, but it's either going to be The Wizard of Oz or Seussical, the musical.
Understood.
So we just want to make something lively and fun and get as many people involved as we can. So. And
I know that Jake Richardson's a friend of mine, of course, and I know that there was some effort at I'm really kind of grasping for straws here. The youth program that Hardin County Playhouse does. Where are things with that in the middle of all this? Have they been able to do anything with Zoom or anything?
I think he's doing meetings with them with Zoom, and of course with the school schedule and everything else. They were planning to do, you know, some type of a showcase of their, you know, what they've achieved and learned, you know, through the program, and that's been put on hold. So we're not exactly sure how that's all going to play out, but, you know, we discuss it probably at the next board meeting and see where we are. So like everybody else, you know, we're just kind of in a holding pattern. It's probably, in many ways, it's tough for us because, you know, we rely on ticket sales and donations, and that's how we keep afloat. So right now there is no income, but we still have our monthly expense. So that's a little stressful, but we're frugal folks and taking care of things as best we know how. So,
if people want to learn more, or if they want to help you out in this time of need, how can they get a hold of you guys?
They can find us on our Facebook page. They can go to the website, hardincountyplayhouse.com. Somebody will answer you. And, you know, some people who have, you know, like leftover money sitting on the shelf, and you know how dirty money can be. Well, don't keep it around now. Stay safe. Box it up and bag it up, send it to me.
Okay.
I'll put it to a good use.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Next up, we have Miss Sarah Vaughn, the Events Program Manager for the City of Elizabethtown. Ma'am, it's been a while since we've had you here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
You had nothing else to do, right?
Unfortunately, it's a little true.
I know, it's so sad right now. Everybody's like, "Oh yeah, I'll be there." I was watching some talk show on at HBO, and the host said, "Thank you for being here," and he was like, and the guest was like, "Had nowhere else to be." He said, "Yeah, we had real good luck getting guests this month, you know."
We have everyone we call is available.
Everyone's available.
It's amazing. Well, I'm sure it's the same for you. I don't mind the open space on the calendar.
I'm getting things
right
done.
Now, yeah, exactly, and definitely caught up, which hasn't happened in probably 8.5 years. So,
talk to our audience just a little bit about. Let's look backward for just a moment. The monkey wrench that this threw into plans for you guys.
Yeah, so we hit 2020 off with a bang. We were shut down at the State Theater for about 3 or 4 weeks because we were renovating, and we couldn't keep the rentals off, and we couldn't. I mean, we were trying to figure out how to schedule events in the theater during renovations when we couldn't, and I mean, it was just one of those situations, and then we hit February because we had held off January. We hit February, I mean, crazy town. I had just gotten off maternity leave in January, so I was trying to regroup and not knowing I would get a second maternity leave coming around, but no, it was crazy. So February was just nuts in a good way, you know.
Well, and I'm sure that you experienced this as well. We were doing really well.
Yeah.
Audience attendance was up. Sponsorships were up. Felt like we were really seeing we had the recession of 2008, and I really felt like we were coming. It's like, all right, we're good. We're
back.
Here. We're back. You know, and so this just really knocked the wind out of our sails.
The same for us. So with the events program, we just moved in to taking over the operations of the State Theater last July.
Yeah.
And so we hired Beth in May as the director or the manager overseer of the State Theater. And then we hired a new administrative assistant in September, Priscilla. And so September, October, the three of us, man, we were really getting our feet on the ground.
Yeah.
You know, we were really starting to try, to get things going, and rentals have been skyrocketing because some of the changes that we've made, and just things really changing and looking up. Shows, one of the biggest things, one of my biggest visions and dreams, and not just mine but many people of the theater, is that we have more promoters coming in to host their shows there and rent the theater and have their show. We get to take home all the rental money and the concessions, and they take all the risk instead of the city booking all the concerts. And
it provides such a great opportunity for the community to see talent
Exactly.
that you by yourself wouldn't be able to bring in, or they wouldn't come, or whatever. And it's like, how did you guys get this?
Yes.
They came to us.
They came to us.
It's the best deal.
And the phone was ringing off the hook. My email blowing up. It was a hard thing trying to find dates. For all of these people, they're fighting over dates, so highest bidder kind of a situation, and then it stopped.
Yeah.
And it's sad. It's so sad, and I know that probably all of us keep saying that, but it's sad across the board on multiple levels. From a State Theater standpoint, it's sad there too, and we're just hopeful that we, of course, have moved everything August on. We had actually taken one of our concerts. It was a Journey tribute, a really great Journey tribute, because I can't afford the real one. But they're really great, and actually one of the band members is from Elizabethtown. He's an alum.
Oh, I remember reading the article in the paper. Yes.
Yeah, Steve. And so super excited about this group. They sell out pretty much everywhere they go. It's crazy. So that was one show that we moved to July, and now we're looking on, Do we move it again?
Right.
You know, what?
We just don't know.
Who knows the answer here? I would pay somebody a lot of money to answer these questions.
Well, and speaking of which, you've had to rethink a lot of the outdoor events over the summer.
Yes. So we announced last week that July the 4th, our Founders Day event, we're still having fireworks because we feel like
I can see them from my house.
Well, we're moving them.
Oh, that's okay too. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that's not something everybody has to be in the same space to appreciate and enjoy.
So our concern was that if we kept the fireworks in the lake, what do people go to the lake for? To get out, to walk, to be there, not necessarily to park in a parking lot. And we don't even have that much parking there. Yeah. So we were very much concerned on a couple of levels, but one being everyone come to the lake, but don't get out of your cars, and we don't have a lot of parking, and you can't go over there, and you have to wear a mask, and we have to socially. We can't control that, you know? It's crazy. All we're gonna do is make a bunch of people mad. Who are already possibly mad anyway because we're all mad at life right now, you know. So we just said, you know what, forget the lake. We're not having any events special things to do. We're not having music. We're not doing any of that. Well, we are having music, but in a different way. So we've moved them to, thankfully, our good friends at EC3, Hardin County Schools, and the ECTC. They were utilizing some property over there, and as you all know, there's a lot of parking lots around there. So we're going to be able to actually shut down parking lots and control the parking around there, and also moving in this location, it's a higher point. We can use bigger shells. We have bigger fireworks. So hopefully you'll still be able to see them from your house.
That's really fun.
Yeah, so at the lake, because of the housing and all the other things going on, we can only use a 4-inch shell. That's pretty much the max, maybe a 5 sometimes, but when we move it to the new property area, we can hit a 6. And so we've put a little bit more money into the fireworks budget since we're not spending it elsewhere. West Banco, great partner. They've been a sponsor for the fireworks show for many years, and they're on board once again. In the middle of all of this, they're stepping up $10,000 to help us pay for those fireworks.
That's incredible. Yes,
so very thankful for West Banco and Marilyn and the team over there, and Kim Douglas. They're just great people. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be different, and all of our local radio stations have jumped on board. They didn't hesitate when I called them. They are actually going to air the soundtrack for us.
Oh, cool.
And so
very cool.
We will have a soundtrack, and we will have announcements, and the goal is that you do stay with your car. We're going to have, it's crazy, we're going to have all the cars socially distanced. We're going to be coning all, people, please just don't move a cone. Just bear with us. Just play along, you know. Whatever side of the fence you're on with this, it doesn't matter. Yeah. We have to be good stewards, and so we're trying to control as much as we can, but we're going to need a lot of help from the folks that come. So hopefully maybe in July 4th, we don't have a lot of these restrictions, and this is a different conversation.
Yeah.
We're still not going to have the event because we have to make a call on that as early as possible. But
plans have to be made. Yeah.
Yes, but we are going to have fireworks. Cool. We're going to have a celebration. So.
Well, how can people learn more about, not only about this event, but I know you have some announcements about cruising and some of the other things that are going on this summer.
Yes.
How can people learn more?
So they can always go to our website, etownevents.com. If you jump on there and it doesn't seem to be updated fast enough, our social media, our Elizabethtown City Events Facebook page is definitely going to have that. We're doing the best we can at keeping everything updated on time, but things are changing. Things are definitely changing. So for the State Theater, you can go to thestate270.org, but I always tell people etownevents.com gets you to all the events and the theater, so you only have to remember one website. So if you go there, you click on your event logo that you're interested in looking at, and we're gonna be very transparent. We're gonna be very open, and being very clear when the decision is made and we have the details that we need worked out. We're gonna let you know.
Great.
We also notify all local media and the newspaper, and so it's going to be out there. You shouldn't have to search too hard for it. Mm-hmm. But things are changing.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Hopefully fall is crazy busy and we need so much help we can't breathe and all of that. And I know you feel the same way.
I have a feeling once we can open and can do things, read those novels now.
Right.
Put those puzzles together now because we have no time once we open.
Save your money.
Yeah.
Because we're going to need it. You're going to need to buy tickets. You're going to need to buy dinner and your gas again when it's $4 a gallon. I mean, yeah, exactly. You're going to need that money.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Up next, we have Carmen Caldera-Bratska with the Elizabethtown Performing Arts Center. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. We are in intermission. As we've talked about previously.
Yes.
Still. And yet in intermission, we are trying to get things accomplished.
Yes.
And we're plotting and planning for the future. I know one of the things that you mentioned that you were in the middle of doing when all of this happened was your Scooby-Doo art
Yes. Yes.
gathering.
Yes, and we were still able to do that.
Good.
We spoke with Crown Point Theater, which of course closed shortly after the EPAC closed.
And they released Scooby-Doo on Netflix or something.
They're
or
going to.
Going to.
I think May 15th is the release date.
Gotcha.
But we agreed that this would give kids something to look forward to.
Sure.
And, you know, they were still having to return schoolwork to the schools. So we were able to work that out. TK Stone allowed all of the Elizabethtown schools to drop the artwork off there. So there was just one point of contact. So we did that, and we will be announcing those winners on the EPAC page and Crown Point Theater pages today.
Nice.
Yes.
Very nice.
Yes.
How many entries did you get?
I think we ended up with 13.
Nice.
Yes, which is lower than usual, but
Well, with
considering
everything-
they're not in school to be reminded
And everything else going on.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So it was good. Yeah, lots
cool.
of fun pictures.
So what kind of things got sidelined for you?
Well, TK Stone Middle School was doing The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. We have canceled that. We're losing too many cast members going to the high school next year.
Sure.
So there's just no way that we can do that one, unfortunately, because we were one week away from Tech Week. So that's
tough.
hard.
That's hard.
Everybody was off book. They had worked so hard. They had done a great job. So that is a loss. And the high school was about to do 1984, and they were going into Tech Week when we stopped.
Yeah.
And we are still hoping to do 1984 whenever we are allowed. That will be our first show back. We're going to start once they are done with NTI and they're done with all of the pressures of school. We're going to start Zoom rehearsals to keep it fresh. We're going to have to recast some people because
Sure.
they are moving
Graduates.
on.
Yeah.
Graduates, or they're moving on to honor schools.
Okay.
Even as underclassmen. We've lost one, maybe two that way. So we will have to recast some roles and do rehearsals that way until we find out what we're going to do. We have also kept the high schoolers and some of our middle school drama students acting by doing our EPAC Together Apart.
What's that?
That is Amazing Panthers Acting Reading Treasures. That's the apart part. So our theater students have picked their favorite children's stories, and they are reading those online to our younger Panthers and anybody else that wants to tune in.
How wonderful.
Yes, so we've been posting those on our Facebook page and on our Instagram pages. So it kind of keeps them working and gives a wonderful chance for the little ones to have somebody read to them. And they know these students because they were the cast members of Where the Green Things Play, which we did back in the fall.
Gotcha.
So there's that connection there that they already have, and getting to see the character as an actual person.
And what kind of stories are they reading?
We have had Pinkalicious. We have had, most of them I've never heard of. It's been really interesting to see. This was your favorite children's book, and I've never even heard of it. We did have Giraffes Don't Dance.
I think I've heard that one.
Yes.
Okay.
And there was I can't think of what the other one was that just kind of jumped out. Oh, that dinosaur series about dinosaurs, what dinosaurs do when they're sick.
Oh.
Something like that. But there was a whole series, and my son loved those dinosaur books. And this was one we didn't have. So when the actor came with this one, I was like, oh, yes, I love that dinosaur. So it's been very enjoyable for me too. And it's been great to stay connected to these kids and to kind of see a glimpse of what inspired them when they were younger.
Yeah, yeah.
That stuck with them.
And I know we all know the fall is fuzzy.
Very.
And fluid.
Fluid
Yes.
is the word of the month.
What goals would you have for your students for next year?
I hope to stay active with them through the summer because we lost the spring.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to do enrichment activities with them over the summer. I'm trying not to get my hopes up too much about the fall because everything is so fluid.
Yes.
But I hope that they are able to come back and get 1984 restarted, and we will have a whole new batch of 6th graders in the middle school that we can start working on improvisation and the basics, and then go from there.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
We'll check back with you next month.
That's right.
'Cause you got to love it, yeah. So time, 'cause I'm moving on the groove. 'Cause you got to love it, yeah. So time, 'cause I'm moving on the groove.
Many of you have been asking when the PAC will open back up for public use. As much as we would like that to be sooner rather than later, well, we face the unfortunate reality that it may be some time before we can return to business as usual. So, what is the PAC currently doing? While closed to the public, the PAC will continue cleaning and repairing the facility and equipment with needed renovation plans underway. Planning for next season, including investigating and possibilities of streaming live events, helping schools and renters determine their best performance options, developing new PAC-to-go offerings to connect virtually with our community, taking advantage of online box office and technical theater training opportunities. When will the PAC reopen? To ensure the health of participants, audiences, volunteers, and staff, the PAC is implementing new operating and scheduling procedures under national, state, and Hardin County School recommendations. Operating procedures: the PAC will limit the time schools and renters schedule in the space to facilitate the rescheduling of postponed events and thorough cleaning of the facility. The PAC will close to the public for 12 hours between each day of public activity to thoroughly clean the facility. The PAC will disinfect door handles and surfaces throughout each day of public activity. The PAC staff and volunteers will wear protective masks and gloves when working with the public. The PAC will work with schools and renters to live stream as many events as possible, copyright laws permitting, due to potential capacity restrictions. Participant and audience restrictions may include having temperatures checked before entering the facility. Anyone with a temperature of 99.6 or higher would not be admitted. Scheduling procedures. 2 consecutive weeks of downward COVID-19 trends must precede each of these phases. Phase 1, we will remain closed to the public. Phase 2, we can serve up to 50 participants on stage and 62 audience members per day. Phase 3, we can serve up to 100 participants on stage and 125 audience members per day. A further 2-week downward trend will return us to normal services of helping 200 participants on stage and having 750 audience members per day in the audience. So yes, there is light at the end of the tunnel, but there's still a lot of road to travel before we get there. Well, that's going to wrap things up for a COVID-19 monthly marquee for this month of May. Thank you for joining us. And now, as we scroll through the credits, we're going to show you some footage from the PAC of some of the renovations, repairs, painting that have been going on while we've had spare time. Until next time, be well, be safe.